last Sunday, taxes went up on anyone earning less than £18,000 a year, income taxes, and of course, we've just been into a pub in Hoole High Street. Taxes also went up on responsible people who don't have a drink in the pub. And if you ask yourself, when people are feeling the pinch and when the cost of living is rising, what should you be doing? The answer is not, as Labour's doing, increasing the cost of living by increasing taxes.
But Labour claim to be the party of the poor, don't they? Or the party of the underprivileged, as they would say. Why do you think they sort of abolished the lower rate tax band? What do you think was in their mind?
Well, you have to judge the Labour Party by its actions. Now they've been in office for 10 years, you can point to the things they actually do, not the things they say. And they go around saying, we're here to help low-income people. Anyone on a low income will have seen their income tax bill go up by the abolition of this 10p tax rate. And by the way, if it sounds like a good thing, abolishing the 10p tax rate, what they've really done is said, instead of paying 10p on every pound of tax every pound of income you've got, we're now going to have to pay 20p. So they've in effect doubled that tax band. And that's the truth of Labour in power. If you look at the way they've mismanaged the economy, we are less well prepared than other countries for the global economic problems. If you look in Chester, we had a Labour council until recently that neglected the city, and it's only when the Conservatives came in that things started to improve. And that is true for national government. If people get a change in Chester, get a new Conservative Member of Parliament here, and get a Conservative government in Westminster, then people will start to be helped and being hit instead of being hit.
I want to talk about the wider economic situation. How good or how bad is Britain's economy at the moment? Because if you watch the news of an evening, you just don't know what to think, do you?
Well, it's a very worrying time for people, and you don't just have to watch the news. You'll know in your own life that the cost of going to the supermarket has gone up, the cost of filling up your car has gone up, taxes have gone up. And of course, if you've got a mortgage, you're on a fixed rate mortgage, it's going to be more expensive when you come off that fixed rate mortgage. So in all sorts of ways, people know that things aren't well with the British economy. And the question they ask of their government is, did you prepare us for this? Did you leave us in good shape for these difficult years? And the answer is Gordon Brown didn't. He didn't use the good years to prepare for the difficult years.
Gordon Brown has borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. Is that going to be your inheritance, if you like, if you win the election? Is that going to be the problem you inherit?
Well, we've got a huge borrowing problem in this country. It's not just the country's borrowed, but the government over-borrowed. And do you know, we are borrowing more each year as a government than any other major government in the whole world. I mean, that is quite a thing. After years of boom times, we didn't prepare, and as a result, you know, whether the election is this year, next year, or whenever, the Conservative government is going to inherit a difficult borrowing situation, and we've got to put that right. And we've got policies to make sure that in future we live within our means and we don't end up borrowing a huge amount and having to clobber people at the very moment when government should be helping them.
Now, everyone has 3 votes in this part of the world for a new council, Cheshire, West and Chester. How important do you think it is that the new council is Conservative controlled?
Well, I think it's extremely important. I'm a Cheshire MP on the other end of the county, and I know this local government change is disruptive, but it's taking place. The Labour government have imposed it on this county, so we've got to make sure it works for local people. And if you ask yourself, who are the politicians who are now most in touch with what's going on in Chester, I think it's the Conservatives. Not only have we shown we can successfully run the City Council here, but with our parliamentary candidate Stephen, and indeed our team out here on Hoole High Street at the moment, we're in touch with local people, we're in touch with local issues, and if you want a strong voice for Chester on this big Cheshire West Council, then I think voting Conservative at the beginning of May is what you need to do.
Final question. One of your jobs is to coordinate the Conservatives' general election campaign. Do you just wish Gordon Brown would get on and call one?
I'd like the election next week. I'd like it next month. But of course, the more the Conservatives are in touch with people, the better we do, the less likely Gordon Brown is to have the guts to call the general election. It's just a feature of politics. What I want to make sure is that when the election comes, Stephen here, your excellent parliamentary candidate, is well placed to take over as the Member of Parliament for Chester and make sure that Chester has a strong voice in the House of Commons, which unfortunately it doesn't at the moment.